My name is Ruth Gracie Isman. I'm a mother to an 11-year-old boy, and I'm an entrepreneur. I was in school by then. That was 2010. I was in school, Tadi School Senior High. So we came on vacation and I found that I was pregnant, but I wanted to abort it. So I told some friends around, but they went back and told my auntie that I was pregnant. So my auntie, after school, my auntie called me and asked if I was pregnant, and I said yes. So that was how I found out I was pregnant. I'm an orphan living with my grandmom and my siblings. We are 5, 3 boys, 2 girls. And my grandmom is struggling alone to take care of the 5 of us. And getting pregnant whilst in SHS, it was hard. First of all, when my auntie found out, I got the terrible beating of my life. I was beaten that day, dragged on the floor, and it was hell. So, and I wanted to, I was going through so many things, and me disappointing my grandmother was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. So, I wanted to get rid of it. I wanted to, just vanish from the surface of the earth. So I tried committing suicide. Yeah. So unfortunately that morning I've eaten beans with red oil. So when I took the akasha, there was akasha in the house. So when I took it, I vomited everything out. And the next day I tried so many other things, taking medicines, so a whole lot. So it got me, and I'm asthmatic. So when I started antenatal, we went to the hospital, and we found out that I had to go through CS. So we needed blood. So during delivery, so my cousin had to come and donate blood so that on the D-Day, we could use that blood. But fortunately for me, later, my grandmother became so supportive, was helping me out, knowing my situations, giving me medicines, every drug that the hospital asked us to buy. My grandma was so supportive. So we tried all the medicines and everything was fine. So that was it. That was the hard. I didn't enjoy any part of pregnancy, any parts. Just my grandmother being there for me was the only memory that I think I'll cherish forever. That day we pound fufu because I was pregnant. My grandmother was giving me fufu, palm nut soup. So that day, that week, my grandmother knew I was going to deliver. So she was like, do hard things so that when the baby comes, the baby will just flow out like that, no pains and stuff. So that day I pounded fufu. My grandmother made me pound fufu so that I'll be strong for the delivery day. So I pounded fufu. I ate the fufu and palm nut soup. I ate everything. Then around 3-4 that way, the contraction started. It was so severe, and my grandmother told me that I shouldn't be, during the delivery time, I shouldn't be shouting, else all my children would be like that. So we had a veranda, so I was just moving about, going up and down, doing this, and my auntie's 2-year-old was with my grandmother. So whilst I was going up and down doing this, and the kid was following me, doing same up and down like that. Then she would go, "Grandma, Mommy Ruth, oh yeah, Grandma, Mommy Ruth, oh yeah." Then she would come back and still following me, doing like that. So around I think around 8, I got an asthmatic attack. So my grandmother had to rush me to the emergency unit so that I'll be given oxygen. So after I was given the oxygen, I was okay. I wasn't having inhaler by that time, so I couldn't use it. So after that, they sent me to the maternity ward, and the nurses told me I had like 2 cm or something. I was like, seriously, the pain was hell. I didn't stay at once. I was just going around the maternity ward. Everybody was asleep. The lights was off. The nurses were relaxing. I was just moving up and down until around 2. Then they sent me to the delivery room. I think it was around 2. I told the nurses I wanted to go and poo-poo. And they were like, no, you go and give birth on the toilet. I was like, I want to poo-poo. The nurses were like, no, you are not going. So, me home washroom. Then the nurses started shouting, hey, about what toilet no do? About what toilet? It felt like I wanted to push. So when that thing started, like I saw water on the floor, then I called them and they took me to the delivery room. So when I went to the delivery room, they said I should push, else they would do me CS. And because of stories that we've heard about CS and stuff, I was scared. Seriously, I was scared, and my condition too. The doctor told me if I go into CS and something happen, it might be worse. So I didn't want it to do. So they were like, if you don't push, we are calling the doctor. If you don't push, we are calling the doctor. So that day, I don't know where the strength came from. I just pushed. When I was pushing, they were like, "Hey, pianfi wumi, men pianfi wumi, pianfi like chimfi wasi, chimfa wumi, chimfi wasi." So I pushed, and the baby came out. So that was it. For me, I don't know, but for me, because of all the trauma I've been through, pregnancy challenges, what people were saying, when my aunties were saying, I didn't feel anything. Sorry, I didn't feel anything. But for me, before this pregnancy whole thing, I was really scared of newborn babies. So I never wanted to touch any, because I felt if I hold them, I'll break them, or you see how fragile their skin is. So my grandmother had to bring pillow for me to put him on the pillow. Then they showed me how to put the breast. I was just looking around, and when I went into the maternity ward, I was the first person that, those after me, they never got their babies. I was the first person that got my baby alive, and the rest that followed. So I was looking at people lying down. There was this woman, like you can see the woman is grown, and I think that was his 5th pregnancy, that through years that she didn't get the baby. And this woman was looking at me and my child, my baby, and she was just crying. So I felt so sad that make it so I cry it so I am worry nkra same na ni me bedu we say cry my baby survived. So why is it that these married people, like none of them got their babies, and they were looking at me and they were crying? So for me, it was just the emotions around, not like me looking at the serious. I was scared of little baby, so me seriously, I didn't feel anything. I was just scared of them giving me the baby to feed. So that was it. After delivery, for me, school was the goal for me. So after delivery, I went to one of my grandmother's sisters at Cape Coast. Then I wanted to continue schooling, so I told one of my aunties that please, they should give me another chance. I just wanted to go back to school. So that my auntie enrolled me at Ogwa Senior High. So my grandmother came for the baby. So I was in Cape Coast alone. So I went to Ogwa Senior High, then continued my education. Then after SHS, God being so good, Care University, had this less endowed program that they give it to good students in unprivileged schools. So I got admission into KNUST. Like, I got admission through that less endowed program into KNUST. So me and my baby, my grandmother has been the one bringing him up all this while. So after school, after graduating KNUST, I came back home and I'm doing my own business. Now I'm taking care of the child myself, and God has been good, and I'm so grateful to my grandmother. My grandmother has been on the way, and he's closer to my grandmother so much. They do everything together. It's just nowadays he didn't even know I was the mom until my auntie told him, "That's your mom. She gave birth to you." So it was all my grandmother there. I was in school, so I didn't even experience how child birth and you being a mother feels like. Seriously, I was that timid, very emotional, and I just react to everything. When I came back from school, this boy is stubborn. Boys, seriously, I've asked God not to give me a boy again, because he's so stubborn that I could beat him, because I didn't have that I don't know, akomana me de be hwe say akwa ye boni but of late I've been so caring. After giving birth, yeah, I've been so caring, and I have sympathy for him, and I didn't. And I've been very appreciative of life, because I look at him, he's now, my grandmother saying him to go and do shopping. I look at him and I'm so grateful to God, because you look at me, now he's taller than me. You look at me, and I brought for this human being who is now a human being that you can send. Like, he's so loving, and I'm really appreciative of life and the people around me, especially my grandmother. Seriously, I don't at all. I don't. I just ask God to give me the strength, and I ask for things I don't know. I go to my grandmom. Do you think this, if I take this step, it will help me or no? Right now, every decision I make in my life, I have to think of my boy. If I do this, what will happen to him? If I do this, what will happen? What will he say? He looks up to me. Nowadays, you ask him, you see, this your friend is doing that. Why don't you also do that? Then she will be like, "Mommy, you are the one who said I shouldn't compare myself to others." So I always remember whenever I'm getting down, and I'm like, even the small boy understands that you shouldn't compare your life to others, but just do you and what will make you happy. So why should I look at him, and he just inspires me. He will tell you, "Mommy, you said I shouldn't do this. Why are you doing this? Mommy, you said I shouldn't do that. Why are you doing that?" So he alone is just directing me on the right path. He's just clever, and I just love him. I've grown to love him. When he was young, I didn't have that affection, but right now, I've grown to love him, and I just want him closer to me, because we miss the lots. As mother and son, we didn't have that bond, and now I want to get all back. I want to get him closer to me as possible, so that we just have that bond. That sometimes he asks so many questions that I'm really sad. He come back from school and will be like, "They say I should write about my father. They say I should write about this. What should I say?" and all that. But my grandfather is late now. He was named after my grandfather. He I would say in a way he built that father figure for him to follow. So I'll be like, oh, write your grandpa's name. Your grandpa's name is that. Do this, do that. So I think that one too is helping a lot. Apart from he feeling he doesn't have a father figure, only ladies around and stuff. Yeah. My body has changed because during breastfeeding I got a sore on my left nipple and I was told to give it to him, but it was so painful, so I didn't. Then January I found out that there were 2 lumps in my breast and I had to go and do surgery to remove it. Normally I lie down to see the scar, and you see, after giving birth your stomach become. I was the type who used to cherish my body a lot. Like, you see a teenage girl with standing breasts, you can wear any kind of clothes, you don't need to be ashamed of how saggy your boobs are. So now that I can't do all that, my body have changed, but I think I look at him and I'm really proud I did. For me, what I didn't enjoy about breastfeeding is, you see, during the night my grandmother would be like, men that home far breast ni ma frano. So you have to sit on the bed. You'll be breastfeeding this child who doesn't want to finish and sleep. Then you'll be sleeping. Then your nipples are sore. You have to give it to him. But anyway, breastfeeding, if you are breastfeeding your baby and you are looking at him like your child, you build that bond. So, and he didn't breastfeed for so long. He stopped breastfeeding around 7 months because I got cholera, and I was told because of the injections and stuff I shouldn't be breastfeeding him. So he came back home. They brought him home and I was at the hospital for I think 5 days. So when I came back from the hospital, I was trying to give this breast to this child and he was like, he's not going to take it. So he stopped breastfeeding around 7 months. So that helped me. For me, not being there, that is the most challenging aspect, because sometimes I remember I used to be in school. When I was in school, I would be like, hey, so what is happening to him? Because of you see, a teenage girl, I was wondering, are they treating him well? And most at times you talk to him and he doesn't know who you are, and you have to explain, I'm your mother. You'll be like, hey, then who is my grandmother? It's you hear those things and it just breaks your hearts. And me being, now I'm a single mom, I'm taking care of him on my own. You have to pay school fees, you have to do this. I look at my budget and it's all about him. I don't have anything in the budget. So at the end of the month, all the profit that comes into my hands is just going to him. And you can't save, you can't do this. I want to do so many things for him, but because I'm a single mom, I'm doing everything on my own. I have to just, this is my child. We've lost so many things as mom and son, but I have to do this. It's challenging though, but I'm good. I'm raising somebody, a human being, so I'm good. Just see your child around, and sometimes he comes to me and we start a conversation, and I feel, first I used to be so lonely. I was that, because of my background, I was just alone in my corner. Right now he comes to me whenever he sees I'm not well. Last week I wasn't feeling well and she comes, mommy, good morning, how are you doing? She said, I just look at him and I'm so proud. He asks questions and you are like, wow, I've brought up a human being, and a good one as that. I just look at him and it's just everything that I ever wanted. I feel like I'm no more alone. I have somebody At least, yeah, may the Barbarian said, he's taller than me, and I look at him, and God is so wonderful. God is so wonderful. So motherhood is from, if you're a teenage mother from the beginning, motherhood will be a little bit messy. But hey, trust me, when this child is growing, running up around, you see motherhood to be very beautiful. Like, hey, Nana Mami, your friend me so Nana Ma, hey, me so me woba. Motherhood, yeah, from the beginning it will be challenging, but when these kids are grown and they are running around, it's the most perfect gift God can ever give you. My final words, I'll just tell my teenage girls out there, please and please, these guys don't have anything for you. They will just dump you once they know you are pregnant and you'll be on your own facing all these trials. Please and please focus on your education. And if you've gotten pregnant, don't think it's the end of the world. I'm a graduate now. After childbirth, I went back to school. I did well, and now I'm really proud of who I am. So just focus on what you are doing, and don't follow friends. Please don't follow friends. I was naive. I didn't know anything. I followed friends, and at least I would say I'm a mother, but please just look into your books. Focus on what you want to become as a human being before thinking of bringing anybody else into the world. Thank you.